Hey, check it out. So I decided to go live this evening. I know it's kind of late there on the East Coast, but I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I really couldn't help it. And so check it out. So today, it's a little chilly in San Diego right now. It's a little chilly. So look, today's topic, we're going to talk about a couple of things. One in particular, the major topic we're going to talk about today is why do a lot of men who become Masons have a different perspective on the Bible once they become Masons? Once again, we're going to talk about a few things, but one in particular is why do brothers, when they become Masons, they have a different perspective. Let me see if I can turn the volume up. Okay, how about that? If you can hear me now, let me know. If you can hear me now, let me know. So anyway, like I said, we're going to talk about why do brothers, when they become Masons, they have a different perspective on religion. And so I just had to bring that up. I was just reading that today. I was in one of the chat groups and that came up. So I'm going to say this. When a brother becomes a Mason and he really gets involved with what I would consider the esoteric side of Freemasonry, really begin to read and understand what Freemasonry is, his whole outlook on Freemasonry changes. His whole ideal of religion changes. And what happens is that person don't look at religion the same way as a person who's not a Mason would. That is my own opinion, and I find it very interesting. So a person who becomes a Freemason, he gets in, he gets involved, he looks at the esoteric side of Freemasonry. Yeah, he's gonna have some things going on. No volume. I still got no volume here. Let me see what I can do. I'm gonna have to come back. Man, I know I got some volume somewhere around here. Oh, okay, I'm good now. All right, I appreciate that, because I was looking for the volume, bro. I was looking for the volume. So check this out. So if you got any questions about that, we can definitely indulge ourselves in the fact that when a brother becomes a Mason, his whole aspect, his whole get up about what religion is and about the whole thing about religion changes, because you must understand that in Freemasonry it accepts no man for his religious belief or his wealth or his personal volume or his connection to society. It's not supposed to. That's the thing. Freemasonry is open to all. And the only thing is that you have to believe in a supreme being by whatever name you choose to call it. So therefore, a lot of times what happens is you hear that Masons worship Lucifer. So let's look at Lucifer. What this Lucifer thing is. A lot of people consider Lucifer Satan.
Watch the whole thing.
Yeah, they consider Lucifer Satan. The whole thing. And that in itself is a misnomer.
What you talking about?
Look, man, you can't be coming just busting in on my thing now. So I'm just saying, a lot of people who become Masons, right? A lot of people who become Masons, they look at the Bible differently than they would at any point in time in their life, because Freemasonry doesn't regard a man for his religious belief, but you have to believe in a supreme being. That's a fact. That should be one of the questions you ask a person who wants to be an Eastern Star or a Freemason. Do you believe in a supreme being, a higher power? So what happens is when
I ask a question. Why?
Why what?
Why should you believe in a supreme being and a higher power?
Why should you?
Yeah.
Because you must understand you didn't get here by accident. You must understand you were not a mistake. You must understand who you are.
I'm just asking.
I'm just giving you an answer too. I'm just saying you have to understand who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, then you're going to be messed up. This is why, let the truth be told, this is why, my own opinion, this is my own opinion. This is why white Masons did not want black Masons to be Masons, period.
Why?
They talking about you.
Okay.
They talking about the legend. It's called the legend of Harem Abiff.
Okay.
You tell me, if you're a Mason and you watching this video, you tell me, how was our ancestors prepared when they came on shore?
So
when they got on the boats to come here?
So I have a question.
I got an answer.
Okay. So if you're talking about our ancestors,
right?
Our ancestors were considered gods. So if they were considered gods, why do you have to believe in a supreme being if you are that supreme being?
Okay. So our ancestors were considered gods, right?
Right.
But you must realize that us being here on the western shores have been tampered with. Our DNA is jacked up.
I'm just asking a question.
I'm giving you an answer.
Okay.
Because if you look at it, we don't even want to trust each other.
True. So what about all the other shores? Cuba,
we don't even want
Rico,
to. We jacked up. We some
Brazil.
Our people collectively don't want to trust each other because of what's been planted in us.
But you know we were here before.
I'm saying now, remove that. I'm looking at the now.
No, I'm saying.
I'm listening.
But we were here before all of that.
We were. And we're still here.
Right. So if we were here before all of that, before the shores that you're talking about, if we were here before those shores, some were transplanted back to Africa from America. Sister Hawkins, I didn't do it.
That's all right. He made me upset. That's all right. He made me upset. Shit. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So, but some of us is here in America before slavery.
Right.
Which means that we were captured and sent away from America, as well as being sent to America.
Okay. Now, I'm quite sure you've heard of this. What's that syndrome called?
Which one?
The one where you're brainwashed.
Oh, okay, the brainwash syndrome.
Well, okay, we're going to call it the brainwash syndrome, but that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one where you begin to identify with the very people who captured you.
Oh, okay, I know what syndrome you're talking about.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of it, but
excuse me?
I know what
for
you're
now
talking
remember the name of this particular syndrome, but it is one that when your captors capture you and they just jack you up so bad till you begin to Stockholm syndrome.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you. Stockholm.
So what happens is you began to believe like they believe.
Right.
This is why a lot of times we begin to call each other nigga. What's up, my nigga? You know, I understand. You know, when you want to say it's a word of endurance, you know, you my boy. But the whole time out. I'm just saying. I can't do that.
Because if you just ask me,
right,
when you start talking about nigga,
right,
that's the word that got people killed.
I sure did.
And I'm not talking about here in America. I'm talking about that was the word when we're talking to Masons.
We're talking to everybody. Anybody get on this.
So, you know, when you start dealing with the second degree, all right, you have a word and then you have a true word. Okay. So if you know the story.
Well, I know the story quite well.
All right. So you know the story. In order to get to that true word, people were killed because they didn't have the right word. Right. Negus, meaning God. Okay. And nigger, meaning ignorant. So when you're dealing with masonry, and I'm just saying because you're talking about ancestry.
I'm listening.
For me, that's what it seems like that would be.
Well, have a seat, damn it.
No, I can't have a seat, bro.
Oh, you got to go home?
No, I'm in here talking to.
Oh, yeah, you go. Because you went deep and then you're going to cut me off and I tell you to have a seat. See, this is why you shouldn't invite your lodge brothers to come over. You shouldn't invite your grandmaster to come over because he would leave you hanging. Now, he got pretty deep in that, which is great. And this is why I say that when you look at our ancestors, those who came on the boats, okay, not those who was already here, but those who came on the boat. When you look at how they was prepared when they came on the boat, it should tell you about who we are and what it's all about. But if you can't do that,
but
then,
if they tell you that, then you will know, and you would be able to protect yourself.
Okay.
That's why Masonry is here, so that you can protect yourself.
Okay.
If you really get into it, you learn how to, because you were talking about the Bible, I understand.
Right, I was.
You learn how to protect yourself from being brainwashed, because religion will do that.
Religion?
And I'm not saying religion is bad. Christianity is good because it gives you good points. So is Islam. And
let's have some clarity on this. We're not saying that religion is bad.
Right.
Not saying that.
Right.
I'm just saying that it has been misused.
It has been misused.
And it's been misused to the fact to keep some of us so dogmatic, so jacked up in the head, till we won't even have a conversation with the very person that looks like you or looks like me, sitting face to face.
Without getting angry or killing each other.
Yeah, without even getting angry. And not only killing each other, but you just get all bent out of shape. And you really shouldn't. You really, really shouldn't. And that is the sad part about the whole thing, is that people get out of shape. You know, they get out of shape. And then they get mad and all bent out. Oh, boy, I'm trying to disappear real quick. There you go. Got it now. I'm back. Oh, that's a lot better. But they get all bent out of shape. And this is why you have to ask yourself sometime about being in this fraternal order. You know, why some of us go so hard at us. Oh, you're a clandestine, or you're this. Why do we do that to each other? Why do we go so hard at each other? And when we see other people of other ethnicities and other races, we don't want to go as hard at them. We don't want to call them out. We don't want to call them clandestine. We don't want to do that. But if I'm looking at you and you're looking at me, and if I'm telling you I'm 3-letter or I'm 4-letter, or you want to come hard at me, you want to go a different way, let me tell you, there is no such thing as a Prince Hall, as a PHO, as an ancient free, as a modern free, as an international mainstream Freemason. That's the jurisdiction for what you are a part of. Now, if you want to really get to the crust of the thing, if you really want to get to the grind of it, you have been either initiated, passed, and raised in a Masonic lodge. And if you haven't done that, then I don't really consider you a Mason. And then I have to revert back to some things I have agreed that I would do and not do. And this is what we have to start looking at, and instead of just jumping down a person's neck or individual neck when they come at you or when they want to have a conversation with you in regards to Freemasonry. Freemasonry is a beautiful thing, as I've said before. But it has some very ugly individuals in it, and it just gives people it turns a lot of people off. You know, I remember being raised and they was telling me how beautiful Masonry is and all the brothers and the visitation and all of that. That was good for a minute, for about the first 10, 15 years. And when Facebook came along, I was like, y'all are some ruthless people when it comes to dealing with Masonry on a broader scale, because a lot of us feel that Masonry only exists in the United States. Like there's no other place in the world. You consider England to be the end all that ends all. It is the final word, and England is not the final word. You know, when you understand what Freemasonry is, when you get involved with Freemasonry and you really crack a book open and begin to indulge yourself in it, man, it's unreal. But what happens when we do that and our eyes begin to really come open, you can see a lot of things differently than anybody else. That's truth. You can see things differently than anybody else, but what happens is we don't do that. We're so hell-bent on destroying each other and trying to prove each other wrong. My success is your success. Your success is my success. Because I will tell you this, if you go out and do anything in the world and you are a Mason and you do that crazy stuff, you know, they're not concerned what lodge you're in and what jurisdiction you're in. They're going to say, hey, the Freemasons did such and such and such. That's inclusive. That is inclusive. This is why, as Masons, regardless of your jurisdiction, you have to carry yourself in a different light. In a different light. So when brothers come in and they take their obligation, be it on the Bible, the Quran, be it even on their constitution, be it on their bylaws, whatever VSL, whatever book that brother or even that sister choose to take their obligation on, they are upholding to that which they took their obligation upon. Like I said, be it the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, any of the books that they may consider to be holy and just, be it your constitution, be it your bylaws, because they have said that they would uphold those things. So there's no need for us to kick a brother or sister aside because they don't necessarily have the same faith belief that we have. But they believe in a supreme being. Now back to this thing about Lucifer, the morning light. Man, y'all got that thing so twisted. You put on you go on to go on the internet and you pull up Freemasonry, right? And what do you find? Illuminati. They worship the Satan. They're praying to the devil. Really? Really. So I'm gonna tell you a story. So I had a job. I'm no longer at this particular job, but this particular job I had, I was a warehouse worker, and the individuals knew that I was a Freemason. So they would tease me about certain things. Oh, you guys worship the devil and blah 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 blah. And they really got next to me. Oh, you hadn't seen it yet. You ain't seen it. Wait, you ain't high enough. You ain't high enough. You hadn't seen it yet. I was like, wow, that's deep. That's deep, right? So I was like, man, all right, so I'm going to wait. So when I finally became a Master Mason, I was talking to some brothers at work, and they was like, oh, so you part of that cult group. You a Mason. You this. I was like, yeah, I like it. Oh, man, you ain't seen nothing. Yeah, you ain't seen. They really mess with me. And my wife had brought me a Masonic ring. It was nice. I took that ring, and I threw it away. I threw it in the garbage. Because they had messed with me so bad, because they was like, oh, you knew you hadn't gotten in it yet. I was like, wow, was it that bad? And apparently to them it was that bad. So what I did after I taken the ring off, I threw the ring away. I went and got the ring, right? Because my wife had bought it. You don't want to do that. Don't throw nothing away. The wife buys for you. So I went and got the ring back. Found it, got it. I brought it home. I put them in my jewelry box. I was like, cool. I gave my mom a call, and I'm from Mississippi, by the way. So I gave my mom a call, and she was like, yeah. She said, look, son, if they're not telling you anything different than what you have been brought up, your beliefs, or if they're not trying to change you, there's nothing wrong with it. And I have not been. No one has put anything on me saying you have to believe this way, you have to believe that way when you become a Mason, or even an Eastern Star, because there are some Eastern Stars who are Muslims. They belong to that faith. And yes, you can find it even in the Quran. You can find those 5 herons even in the Quran. And that's the thing you have to realize. That the Order of the Eastern Star and Freemasonry is bigger than where you at. But a lot of people want to just place it right here in the United States. A lot of people want to just put it in a box. You cannot put Freemasons or the Order of the Eastern Star in a box. You can't do it. And what happens when you try to, it's going to come out the box because you don't have a lid big enough or strong enough to hold it down. You can't do it. And then you be wondering, what's going on. So look, if you're checking this out tonight, I certainly appreciate it. It's pretty late on the West Coast. I mean, on the East Coast. I'm looking forward to watching. I don't even have one on. It's got to be almost maybe close to 11 o'clock on the East Coast time. So I appreciate those who are up checking this out. You know, I'm just trying to get a little deep. So if you have any questions or anything like that, we can go at it. We can definitely go at it. We can talk about the upper degrees. We can go all the way to the 95th degree if you want to talk about it. I've indulged myself in those particular degrees of the primitive rites, and we can have that conversation because I'm here to dispel a lot of dismoments about Freemasonry. You know, people have their own ideal about it, but unless you have been initiated into those rites and orders of the Freemason, you won't get it. Now, granted, I'm only talking about the jurisdiction for which I'm a part of, for which I've taken my obligation, for which I've been initiated in. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I have visited some lodges, and the way they have done their initiations, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I was only a visitor, and I don't think it's necessarily right to where some people would want to how some people handle and do their initiations. But when you're a visitor to a Masonic lodge, it is best that you sit down and enjoy the atmosphere. And if you have anything to say, you say it after that. You know, and that's the uniqueness of the fraternal order. You know, and I'm just hoping to push that. And let me tell you, you know what I really like is during the month of March, April, May, June, and July, a lot of Masons travel during that time. A lot of us love traveling during that time to different jurisdictions, receiving invitations from various Grand Lodges. We love to do it. And I'm going to send this big shout out to the Texas is having their Momentum Conference. I think it's in March. I just got the shout out about it. I don't have the dates directly before me, but they are holding the East Coast Momentum Conference in Texas. So if you can get down there, go ahead and enjoy it. I don't know if we're going to do a West Coast Momentum Conference this year. I know right now, I know my schedule is full, and I just don't have the time to put it together. But if you are on the West Coast and you want to put together a West Coast Momentum Conference, I've done 2 of them. I'm all in. I did one last year. I don't know. I didn't do one last year. I did one the year before last. I got too much going on right now, so I'm just trying to keep it. I'm just trying to keep it simple, you know. But what I definitely want to talk about, my next topic, my first topic dealt with those who may change their perspective as far as the Bible and religion is concerned when they become Masons. Now, my next topic is going to be about visitating. How many of you have actually visited a lodge outside of your jurisdiction? Texas is in April. Okay. Texas is in April. Thank you for the shout out. So, my next topic is how many brothers, how many sisters have visited chapters and lodges outside of your own jurisdiction? And the reason I'm asking the question is because it's beautiful. Because then and there is where you get what I would say, the crust of the organization. This is what the organization is all about. Because a lot of times we get so caught up where we're at till we don't really get a chance to enjoy the organization as we proclaim it to be. Because we all know, we say, man, Masonry is beautiful. You go to all these different places, blah, blah, blah. It's great. But until you get outside of your jurisdiction, until you get outside of your chapter, I feel, this is my own opinion, I feel you're missing the joy of Freemasonry. Not just, when you go visit a brother or a sister in another state, you guys may hang out, go to a club or two. That's cool. Hey, That's cool. Have your fun. But I'm saying when you go visit their chapter, their lodge, and see how they open and close and how they handle business, it may surprise you that it may be different than yours. And then you're going to shake your head. We don't do it that way. And it's okay. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. If you don't do it that way, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. And a lot of times people go visit other lodges and chapters and they say, well, we don't do it like that in my lodge. Well, because you don't do it like that doesn't mean it's not wrong. That is how they do it in their jurisdiction. And I'll tell you, the best thing you can do is to respect individual jurisdictions. Their lodge, their grand lodge, their chapter, their grand chapter. Respect that. You are a visitor. Respect how they do their business, how they handle their business. I would say this. If I go to a particular chapter and I visit, if I go to a particular lodge and I visit, and they got a book open, and they doing all of that, if I go visit a lodge or a chapter and they got their book open and all they can do is no, you're going to either read it like you own it or you're going to say it like you believe it. And I say that because you shouldn't have a book open in anyway. If you are an officer in the lodge or chapter, you should not have a book open when you're doing your work. It should be right there. It really, really should. It really should be right there. So hold on just a second, I'm gonna get this here. But you should really just go into it, indulge yourself into the works and learn the works. So when you go visit a chapter or a lodge and they're opening, at least you can kind of follow along, even if they're not doing it your way. There is similarities in every chapter, every lodge as far as how the work is done. So when you do that, then it is great. It is really, really great. And I would encourage you to just, to do that. That would be my thing to do. And if you have a question, post your questions. I mean, I see a few people watching tonight, and I certainly appreciate you. And it's pretty late on the East Coast, but right here on the West Coast, I don't have nothing to do tonight. And I decided to say, you know what? Let me send a big shout out real quick to some brothers and sisters who may be up right now checking this out. And one is going to be Xanthes chapter out of San Diego, Umoja's chapter out of San Diego. Sending you a big shout out. Elite chapter out of Los Angeles, sending you a big shout out. Just letting you know how much I appreciate you, sisters, for the job that you do. Hey, what can I say? I'm the patron of those chapters. That's why I say that. Because if I don't, they may be mad. But but wanted to give them a big shout out. Going back to what I'm saying, I don't want to get too far off track. That I would hope that sisters, in particular, I know brothers do it, but I'm encouraging sisters to go visit different chapters outside of their own jurisdiction. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's very beautiful, and you would get an enjoyment out of it. I believe that you would really get an enjoyment out of it. It is something that I feel that it enhances you as far as Freemasonry in the Order of Eastern Star is concerned. It really does. And when I say it enhances you, then it gives you a whole nother perspective on the organization itself. Because wherever you go, it's going to be done a little differently. But the ideal is to go visit, and just to let you know, hopefully if all goes well, and I know it's going to go well, I'm going to be visiting some lodges this year outside of my jurisdiction. I've already had the invite, and I'm looking forward to that visitation. So Come on, send me one, and I'm going to send you one, and I'm looking forward to it. If I send you an invitation to come visit, accept the invitation. Please come visit. Don't have me to send it and then you don't visit. Okay? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, if you are a member of a lodge or a chapter and you're not paying your dues, that's an issue. You're a member of a lodge and chapter, but you are not paying your dues. Now look, we all know that some people fall on hard times. We know that, and there's nothing wrong with it. Go to your lodge or chapter and say, look, here's my situation. I want to be a part of this organization, but right now, due to my financial situation, it's a burden. And I guarantee you, if this lodge, if that chapter is truly who they say they are, as far as being a Masons and Eastern Star, they would say, look, sister, look, brother, we know that you have participated in everything you possibly can. We know that when we had our meetings and things, you were here. We appreciate you. And because right now you find yourself unable to pay your dues, we're going to support you through it. That's the lodge. That's the chapter you should be in. But let me tell you, if you go to that meeting and you're standing up before your sisters and brothers, whether it be in your chapter or your lodge, and you explain to them that you're having hard times, and they look at you with the left eye, that's not the one you need to be in. As I said, to brothers and sisters who are dealing with a situation where they are behind on their dues, but before you got behind, you was at all of the events, the dinners, the selling of dinners, the what you was that it factor. You were there. But right now things have gotten kind of tight. And you went to the lodge and to the chapter and tried to tell them, hey, look, it's kind of tight right now. And they looked at you with the left eye. I'm going to tell you, that's not a good lodge nor a chapter you need to be part of. Because you have invested your time, your money, your energy into making the organization a better organization. They're going to look at you funny because right now you can't pay that $25, $15, or $10 a month. No, I would leave. That's my own point of view. You have to look at your situation. You have to look at your situation. I'm talking to those who have paid their dues, who have been there through thick and thin. You've been with this lodge, that chapter. But right now, you're having some issues in your life, and they can't see you through it. You need to rethink your membership to that lodge, to that chapter. That may be the wrong one. That just may be the wrong one. So, I want to send a big shout out to John G. Jones Uncut, Brother Amos, peace out. And I want to send also a big shout out to Building Bridges, Masonic Facebook group. That's Brother William T. Hill. That's a great group to be a part of. You know, so when you look at that, it's totally awesome. All right, so I'm gonna move on. Which one of you brothers still have your white apron when you got raised? Or I could say initiated, but some jurisdictions give white aprons when you get raised. Didn't know that, huh? So, which one of you still have your white apron? And if you do, what does it mean to you? And I say that because what happens is we know that there are many brothers that come along in the fraternal order and they don't last long. I say that to say this. Ask the members who are there, why did they stay in the Masonic order? If you want to build your lodge up, if you want to build your chapter up, the members who are there, the young ones, not the old ones, not the titans, but the young ones, you want to ask them, why are you still here? And they will tell you why. And you're going to build your chapter, your lodge, based upon the reason that they're there. Because if they're in their 20s, That's a good one, brother. You gave your apron to a new brother. Hey, that's a blessing. That is truly a blessing. Yes, it is. So I'm gonna say this: if you want to find out why your lodge or chapter isn't growing, you gotta ask those who came in and left. You gotta ask those who stayed, and they will tell you why the chapter isn't growing. They would tell you why the lodge isn't growing. They would actually tell you, but you have to ask them that. And we did the same thing a few weeks ago. We was at a lodge meeting and we asked the youngest member in the lodge, why did you stay when those who came along with you have not? And he said because he got something out of it. He learned something. It was the brotherhood. It was that camaraderie that he enjoyed. And we was like, okay, so it's the camaraderie, it's the brotherhood. Okay, we've heard that before, but why did you stay? And specifically, it was because he got something out of the organization and he put something back in it. If you have a brother who can't, or even a sister, if you have a brother or a sister who can't deposit something and always taken out of, you need to pull them to the side and have a conversation. If you have a brother or a sister who always is taking from the lodge, taking from the chapter, and never investing anything into it, you, worthy patron, you, worthy matron, you, wishful master, you, senior warden, you, junior warden, is going to have a conversation with him. You want to pay? I need some more Kool-Aid.
You ready to take off?
Yeah, you can take off. Just give me some more Kool-Aid. Take off. I want some Kool-Aid. So I'm just saying, that's how you have to view that, because it will kill your membership. It will truly kill your membership. I had some brothers over tonight, and I left them in the room watching TV while I had to have this conversation with y'all. They didn't want to join me. They leaving me right now. Where you going? Home. All right. Well, he's going home. It's just now 9 o'clock on the West Coast, and I'm sitting here. I'm kind of sitting here with y'all, but y'all ain't posting no questions. But it's all good. I'm 37 minutes and 20 seconds into this.
Anybody ask no questions?
Well, they asked a few questions. Thank you. Wait a minute. You really got some? You got some real Kool-Aid? Hey, now look.
Y'all heard him. Y'all heard him ask for some Kool-Aid, right?
He went and got me some real Kool-Aid. I told him, I said, bro, go get me some Kool-Aid. He went and got me some real Kool-Aid.
Come out, bro. Love you, man.
Love you too, dog.
Y'all be peaceful, man.
Man, I don't know. All right, you stay up. Yeah. Hey, the next time this brother come over, he do some crazy sign to me.
Right, yeah.
You need to check him.
I will.
But I caught it. I didn't mean to leave y'all hanging.
That's all right.
That's all right. Make sure you lock my door.
I got it.
Oh, man. I tell you. He was trying to keep my Kool-Aid, huh? I believe it, too. I believe the brother was trying to keep my Kool-Aid. Brought me some real Kool-Aid. I got some red Kool-Aid, man. Crazy. Like I said, I'm open tonight. So if anybody got any questions they want to ask, let me hear it. Post it. Let's have that conversation while I'm good. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go in another direction. So I was having a conversation with a brother who's a member of another jurisdiction who claimed that their organization, as far as the Shriners was concerned, was founded by John G. Jones. And I agreed up until a certain point. I said, how can you vilify or call this man all these names, but yet honor him as a Shriner? I probably don't have to say the name, but I'm gonna leave the name where it's at, and I'm gonna let you, who's watching this, guess. Right? What would you suggest to a new brother in the East? Educate, educate, educate. I would suggest a brother in the East who's new is to get yourself a wish for master assistant. Get your bylaws to your lodge. Get the Constitution and bylaws to your Grand Lodge. Educate yourself on that. So what happens is you want to train your successor, because you're not going to be in the East always. Train your successor, the person who's behind you. You want him to be better than you. And what's going to happen is your lodge is going to grow from that. Whether you be an Eastern Star or a Mason, your successor is going to make you look good or make you look bad. Either way, train him or her to be the best worthy matron, the best wish for master you can. And that's a fact. Train them up, because they're going to look at it and say, well, you know what? When wish for master such and such was sitting here, we did this. When worthy patron was sitting here, or worthy matron, we did this. Train them. Show them the right way to do business. Not the shortcuts. At the sound of the gavel, we're now open. No. Train them up. Open your lodge. Open your chapters. I'm telling you. I'm in the same situation. What's up, bro? I'm in the same situation dealing with a senior warden who's trying to dispute the order of the lodge. No. He can dispute all he wants to. If he expects to sit in the East, he has to respect the East. If he expects to be anything other than a senior warden, you know what I mean? And that's taking your spot, hey, he gonna have to step his game up. And she's gonna have to step her game up, because you know what? What happens is brothers and sisters get to the East and they look around. It's different than when you sit in the West. If you are a worthy matron, if you are a wishful master, and you have longed to be in the East, and you get there, and you look out over your chapter and your lodge, it's a different perspective. It is truly a different perspective. So I would say that if you are a associate matron or a senior warden in your chapter and in your lodge, please assist that worthy matron, assist that wishful master, help them to be successful, because when you get in the East, you're going to be successful. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And that's the unique thing I would say that we all need to do. What makes an effective junior warden? Watching the senior warden. Because check this out. So if you are a junior deacon, right, you want to watch that senior deacon. If you are a senior deacon, you want to watch that junior warden. If you are a junior warden, you want to watch that senior warden. When you are a senior warden, you want to watch that wishful master. Because what's going to happen is you're going to learn everybody's part, their duties, and what they're supposed to be doing throughout the lodge. And now if you are a worthy matron, you're going to watch. If you are a associate matron, worthy matron, conductress, associate conductress, you're going to watch everybody else. So when you get there, you're going to already know. You're going to already know. You're not going to be like, well, I don't know what to do. You're going to already know, because you've been watching. This is why they elected you to the position. Because the lodge of the chapter felt that you was most qualified for the position, because you have already served in those chairs. Now let me tell you this. Now you may have a junior warden. You may have a senior warden. He's next in line to be the wishful master. He just might not be ready. He or she. If you have an associate matron who's looking to go to the East and become the worthy matron, she just might not be ready. She just might not be ready. So you have to watch that. You really have to pay attention. Just because they're sitting in the West, look at them come to the East, they may not be ready. As a matter of fact, that junior warden may be more so ready than that senior warden. But you have to be careful. Be careful and be diligent in your work as a wishful master as far as who's coming up to take that place. Because you must remember, you're not going to always be in the East, worthy matron, wishful master. He said that the works that he would decline the seat if elected. I'm thinking about having him step down. You know what? If you have a junior warden, a senior warden in your lodge, and he's thinking about stepping down, or he won't accept the seat when it comes open, he's not ready for it. He's just telling you that. He said, I'm going to decline. He's not ready for it. If you have an associate matron who sits in the West, and she's next up to be the worthy matron, she ain't ready. He's not ready. If they're telling you this already, just watch. They are not ready to go to the East. It's lonely in the East. It is. And if you are a wishful master or a worthy matron right now, and you sit in the East and you're looking over your chapter, your lodge, and you're like, man, it's lonely there. But you have to persevere. You have to be the stronger one. Sometimes you come to the meeting, if you got 20 people in your lodge or your chapter, and you get there, you may only have 5 one night, 6, maybe 10. But you have to be there. You have to be there. What about the line of succession? What would you like to know about it? Because let me tell you, just because you have a line of succession doesn't mean there's going to always be that way. Because that senior warden who's supposed to be going to the East, that junior warden may just become the senior warden. And you may be still stuck in the East unless there's a past master that may want to serve another term and he's negotiated, he's made some promises that he did. You know how the election go. You know how it goes. And then you find yourself out of the East being a past master, and you find your past master back in the East. And then that junior warden that was sitting over there, he's now the senior warden. The senior warden is now a past senior warden. He's just a member of the lodge. It can go that way sometime. I'm just saying, it can go that way sometime. So, but we as Masons, we as Eastern Stars, we're going to have to do better with our organization as far as taking it to that next level. And right now, I believe that we are in that place to do that. You know, but there's some things we're going to have to change. We're going to have to start respecting each other a little bit more than we do. And we're going to have to let go of that stupid mentality of saying, I'm 4-letter, I'm 3-letter. What's the difference between a 4-letter and 3-letter? Is just a letter. One practices the ancient customs and one practices the modern custom. Ancient, free, and accepted Mason. Free and accepted Mason. Modern, free, and accepted Mason. International, free, and accepted Mason. PHO. Look, we have to move that stuff aside. There's a lot of issues that faces the Masonic body as a whole, be it mainstream, whatever. There are Masonic issues that are bigger than that. And just because you may be of a particular letter, look, man, Masonry is bigger than where you at. And I'm going to say that until I'm no longer able to speak again. It is bigger than where I'm at. And I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to travel outside of the United States. Because if I didn't know any better, I would be like, wow, why did I join this organization? But I know better. I've seen what Masonry should look like outside of where I'm at. And when I see it, I was like, this is what it's all about. When a brother can speak to you and not speak the same language to you, that's deep. Hear me clearly. When a brother can speak to you and not speak the same language to you, but through symbols, he has that connection, or even she has that connection. That's deep. Okay, very. Okay. Membership has its privilege. And yes, membership is a privilege. You're absolutely right. I cannot deny that. Yep, I have to agree with you, bro. That membership has its privilege, and being a member of the organization is truly a privilege. But you know what? We have to check those who we are looking at bringing into the organization. Everybody is not worthy to be a Mason or an Eastern Star. They're not. Just because you're my friend, don't make you worthy to be a Mason or an Eastern Star. But you know what we do? We suggest that to our friends. You should join my chapter. You should join my lodge. And you know what? They do. And because you have vouched for them and their good behavior, you will find out some other stuff that you didn't know that existed with them. And then you'll be like, oh my God, why did I bring her into this chapter? Why did I bring him into this lodge? Because he is tearing this it up. Yes, I'm drinking Kool-Aid. That's what you're going to be saying. You know? And that's the hard part. That is the hard part. And I'm like, wow. So it's crazy. And I know that we need to do better than what we're doing. Because if we don't, we're going to look around and see our lodge empty. We're going to look around and see our chapter empty if we can't do better. And when I say better, it's not necessarily saying that some of your friends are not worthy, but you have to check them out. You know your friends better than anybody, but you're giving them an application to become a member of your lodge and your chapter. And when they come in, they tearing up shit. Oops, sorry. They tearing up stuff. And then you wondering what's going on. You know, please, when you do your initial interview, if that's my friend, I shouldn't even be on the interview. As a matter of fact, I give them the application of membership, but I would not sign my name on the application. That's me. That's how I would do it. If I know a good brother, or maybe even a good sister who would like to be an Eastern Star or a Mason, I would not sign my name on the application. Because if you are an officer of that lodge or that chapter, your name gives that application a certain status because you are the worthy matron or the wishful master and you're recommending that person. No, I wouldn't put my name on it. I'll wait and have the investigation team go investigate and see what comes up. Because when you do that, then you're more than likely going to probably find out something you didn't know if the investigation team does its job. See, the investigation team, when they go investigate a brother or a sister, there's some questions that they should be asking. You know, what are you going to bring to this organization? And then we're going to tell them this is what you are expected to do and be. And the whole thing, you must be open with those who you are investigating. You must be able to speak on the very organization for which they are claiming that they want to be a part of. If you are interviewing anyone and they are, kind of apprehensive about becoming a member, you should be able to speak of the Eastern Star and speak of Freemasonry in such a way to it pulls them in. They be like, wow, that's deep. I really want to be a part of that. That's what I'm looking for. But if you can't speak on it, if somebody says, hey, wait, what's that? And you can't tell them, oh, you don't want you don't want that. If you can't tell them, hey, I'm a member of one of the oldest fraternal orders in the world, the Freemasons. The Freemasons have no boundaries. We travel around the world. We respect each other. And for the most part, that's true. And I only say for the most part, for those who have experienced that, it is true. Some have not. That's why I say for the most part. People will become very interested in what you're doing. They would. They will. In the way you carry yourself and how you do. People are watching you. They are watching. So I say that because it is certainly a fact. It is certainly a fact. But we have to be aware of all of that. We really, really do. So my question to those who are watching tonight, and even after you watch this video, my question would be, how often have you visited outside of your own jurisdiction? If you're watching this video right now, how often have you visited outside of your own jurisdiction? Think about that. You know? How often have you done that? Because what happens is that you claim you're this Mason, you claim you're this, but you never go outside your own jurisdiction. You never go outside your lodge. You at your lodge meeting whenever they meet. You go to your grand session, but you have never visited outside of that. I would say that you're missing something great. You are. You're missing something great. But if you are relaxed, if you're comfortable, if you're at this place in your journey to where you don't need to do it, I understand that. But I'm saying to those who are excited about the organization, that you want to go visit other jurisdictions. If you haven't done that, you are, in my opinion, right now, you're missing a great thing. You're missing. It's awesome to go to something different than what I've often seen, and to be able to gravitate to that. It's beautiful. But a lot of times we get so caught up till we miss it. You know, we miss it, and then we're wondering, what are we doing? How did I miss it? What's going on? And in saying that, you be like, man, I remember when there was 15, 20, 25 brothers, 100 brothers. We met in a lodge. I remember when we had 100 sisters, 25, whatever. I remember. See, but you have to make that same thing happen, or work for those who are not there. You have to do that. If you have a new sister coming to your chapter, you have to be able to keep her interested. A new brother, keep him interested. Keep him coming back for more. You know, you got to be able to say, take this. But then keep him coming back. You know, you know how you do it. Just like fishing. You throw it over there, that's how you keep them coming back. But if you don't have activities for them, if you don't have anything for them to do, they're into apprentice, they are an Eastern Star. If you don't have nothing for them to do, they are not going to be around very long, because you have nothing for them to do. Oh, you're an apprentice, sit over here. And they're sitting and they're listening, but they're not involved with what's going on in your lodge. They're not going to stay around long. They're not. So look, it is now, I would say it's now 9:30 on the West Coast side, and I appreciate those who have tuned in this evening, and I appreciate the questions that you have asked. I'm quite sure, and I hope that you have gotten something out of it. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I'm hoping that one day soon that we're going to cross paths. You know, we can get that grip to which one may recognize another in the day or in the night. So until we meet again, always keep your light on and stay out them bushes. I'm out. Oh, if I can. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I can't get this thing to stop. Well, brothers and sisters, oh, there you go.